Have you ever wondered how the world as we know it came to be? Let's journey back, way back, to the dawn of civilization. The first known human settlements sprouted up in Mesopotamia, a region nestled in the cradle of the Fertile Crescent between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. These early humans, our distant ancestors, weren't merely surviving, they were beginning to thrive. The development of agriculture unlocked a new way of life. Instead of chasing their food, people began to settle down. They grew crops, domesticated animals, and built homes. Villages turned into towns, and towns into bustling city-states. But civilization is more than just cities and agriculture. It's about culture, trade, governance, and technology. Most notably, it's about communication. And what's the bedrock of communication? Writing. In Mesopotamia, writing took the form of a system called cuneiform, etched onto clay tablets. This wasn't just about keeping records, though that was certainly a part of it. Writing enabled the transmission of ideas, the documentation of history, and the codification of laws. It was a game changer, a cornerstone of civilization. These early city-states like Uruk and Ur were more than just collections of people. They were organized with clearly defined social structures. They had rulers and laws, religious practices, and economic systems. They built architectural marvels like the ziggurats, towering temples that touched the sky. These were the places where humanity first began to experiment with the ideas and institutions that would become the cornerstones of society. It was here that we first saw the emergence of governance, of religion, and of economic trade. So, when we talk about the dawn of civilization, we're talking about more than just a point in time. We're talking about a shift in the human story. A turning point where we began to shape the world around us in new and profound ways. From these humble beginnings in the Fertile Crescent, the roots of human civilization spread out, touching every corner of the globe. And from these roots grew the diverse and complex societies we see today. From the Fertile Crescent emerged the blueprint for modern societies. How did a few cities grow into vast empires that spanned continents? This question has puzzled historians for centuries. With the rise of civilization, humanity saw the emergence of empires, stretching their territories across vast lands, leaving indelible marks on the sands of time. Our journey begins with the Egyptian dynasties, where the Nile's fertile banks gave birth to one of the earliest and most enduring empires. Pharaohs, pyramids, and a pantheon of gods, the ancient Egyptians built a civilization that stood for nearly 3,000 years. But even the pyramids couldn't withstand the sands of time, and the Egyptian Empire eventually fell to foreign invaders. Next, we moved to the Roman Empire, a beacon of civilization amidst the barbaric world. From the humble beginnings of a city-state on the Italian peninsula, Rome grew to dominate the entire Mediterranean and beyond. Their advanced legal systems, architectural marvels, and military might set them apart. But as the saying goes, all roads lead to Rome, and indeed they did, leading to its inevitable fall through overexpansion and internal decay. Then there were the Mongols, a nomadic tribe from the steppes of Central Asia, who under the leadership of Genghis Khan, created the largest contiguous land empire in history. They were known for their horseback archery, military tactics, and ruthless conquests. However, their empire too crumbled under the weight of its own vastness and internal discord. Finally, we touch upon the British Empire, an empire where the sun never set. It was the most extensive empire in world history, controlling vast territories across every continent. The British brought with them their language, culture, and industrial innovations, but the winds of change were blowing, and the empire eventually succumbed to the rising tide of nationalistic movements and the devastation of 2 world wars. Each of these empires had their unique characteristics and strengths, contributing to their rise. But they also had their Achilles heel, leading to their eventual decline. Be it overexpansion, internal strife, or external pressures, these empires couldn't stand the test of time. Empires may rise and fall, but their legacies endure. These legacies continue to shape our world, reminding us of our collective past and the ever-changing nature of power and civilization. What triggers a revolution, and how does it change the course of history? Let's delve into the heart of some of the most impactful revolutions the world has witnessed. Revolutions are not born in a day. The seeds are sown over years, even decades of discontent and disillusionment. Take, for example, the American Revolution. Tensions between the 13 American colonies and the British monarchy had been simmering for years. The catalyst was when the British demanded more taxes without any representation in the parliament. This sparked a rebellion that led to the birth of a new nation, and forever changed the face of governance with the establishment of a democratic republic. Then there was the French Revolution. At the end of the 18th century, the French people, burdened by poverty and oppressive social structures, rose against the monarchy. The revolution was a bloody affair, but it ended the absolute monarchy, led to the rise of radical social change, and introduced concepts like liberty, equality, and fraternity. And let's not forget the Russian Revolution. The early 20th century saw Russia in the throes of political and social unrest. The people, tired of the autocracy and the hardships of World War I, rose against the Tsar. The result? The end of the Tsarist rule and the birth of the Soviet Union, a socialist state that would become one of the superpowers of the 20th century. What's important to note is that these revolutions were not just about overthrowing an existing system. They were about the birth of new ideas, new systems, and new ways of thinking. They changed not just the political landscape, but also the social and cultural fabric of their societies. Each revolution is unique, shaped by its own set of circumstances and its own set of challenges. But they all share one common thread: the desire for change, for a better future. They remind us that people have the power to shape their own destinies, to challenge the status quo, and to bring about change. Revolutions may be born out of turmoil, but they pave the way for progress. Scene script: how did we transition from a world of empires and monarchies to nations and democracies? Let's journey back to the aftermath of the two world wars, a time when the map of the world was about to be redrawn. The world was devastated, and the old order of empires and monarchies was crumbling. The winds of change were blowing, and they were blowing towards democracy. In the wake of the wars, the process of decolonization began. Colonized nations yearning for freedom began to break their shackles. The mid-20th century saw an unprecedented wave of independence movements, transforming the political landscape. From the shores of Africa to the heart of Asia, former colonies emerged as sovereign nations, as the once mighty empires retreated. But the birth of these new nations was not an easy one. They had to grapple with the challenges of nation-building, of creating a sense of shared identity amid diversity, of establishing institutions that respected the rule of law and human rights. Many succeeded, others stumbled, but the march towards self-determination was unstoppable. Parallel to this, democracy, the governance of the people, by the people, for the people, began to take root. It was not a smooth journey, and democracy took different forms in different parts of the world. But the idea that power should rest with the people, and not with a select few, was gaining ground. In the midst of this transformation, international institutions were established to maintain peace and promote cooperation. The United Nations, the World Bank, the International Monetary Fund, these were all born out of the desire to prevent another world war, to promote economic stability, and to foster international cooperation. They were the pillars of a new world order, one that sought to uphold the principles of peace, justice, and human rights. So, as the dust of the wars settled, a new world emerged. A world of nations, not empires. A world of democracies, not monarchies. A world that was interconnected, interdependent, and striving towards a shared future. The ashes of war gave birth to a new world order. What lessons can history teach us about our future? It's a question that resonates with all of us, as we look ahead into the uncharted territories of tomorrow. History, in its broadest sense, is the story of humanity. It is a rich tapestry woven from countless threads of human experience, triumphs, and failures. We've witnessed the rise and fall of empires, revolutions that have reshaped societies, and technological advancements that have fundamentally altered our world. Each era, each event, each decision leaves an indelible mark on the canvas of time, creating patterns that echo through the ages. These patterns, if we're astute enough to recognize them, can serve as invaluable guides as we navigate the future. Take, for example, the recurring theme of resilience. From the ashes of fallen empires, new societies have risen, stronger and more enlightened. This resilience, this ability to adapt and evolve, is a lesson that history teaches us time and again. As we face the challenges of our time, whether it's climate change, social inequality, or technological disruption, we can draw strength from the knowledge that we, as a species, have the capacity to overcome adversity and thrive. Moreover, history also underscores the importance of unity. Time and again we've seen that when we stand divided, we fall. But when we stand together, we rise. As we confront global challenges that know no borders, this lesson is more pertinent than ever. But perhaps the most important lesson that history offers us is the power of human potential. We've seen time and again that when people are empowered, when they are free to dream and innovate, they can change the world. Every chapter of our history, every triumph, every failure is a testament to the indomitable spirit of humanity. And it's this spirit that will guide us as we shape the future. So as we stand on the threshold of tomorrow, let's remember that history is not a static record of the past. It's a dynamic, living entity that resonates with lessons and wisdom. History is not just about the past, it's a roadmap to our future.